Hello, ladies and gentlemen of Louisville. My name's Jason Mudd. I am your host for the 502 Leader Series. This was a very special episode. We got to sit down with McKnight Howe. Mo is the owner of Revelry Boutique Gallery. She is an artist. She's a photographer. She's a philanthropist. She has had a big part in a lot of the cool stuff that goes along with Louisville. You think about the Forecastle Festival. Her brother J.K. McKnight started that. She's on the board of the Forecastle Foundation. She's on the board of the Fund for the Arts. She's a big game changer in Louisville, and she's a big trendsetter and a culture maker. She, through her Revelry Art Gallery, has helped so many young and old artists in Louisville get their start selling art, which really gets a business started for a lot of people. She's made it her mission to expand the city. And not just expand the city, but expand the people's tastes in Louisville. And I think that there's a lot to be applauded with that. It was so nice to sit down with her. Mo was one of the first people that I went to when we had this young t-shirt business at Yes Brands in Yes Louisville. And we had the 502 shirt, our first shirt, and I went to Revelry looking for retail partners, and Mo said yes. And that was a big thing for me, her taking a risk on somebody and stepping out and helping me out. So it was a really, really big help for me. And I'm very, very grateful to know her. And she has so much to teach a lot of us. She's taught me so much in the short time that I've known her. So this conversation is about 35 minutes long. It's not too long. It's an easy listen, but there are so many good takeaways. There's so much to learn and gain from her. And if you've never been to Revelry Gallery, gosh, take a trip down to New Lou on Market Street. Don't just stop into Revelry Gallery, but have lunch or in the neighborhood. Go get some coffee at Please and Thank You. There are so many great spots in New Lou and in the surrounding areas. Gosh, there's so many small businesses in Louisville that do such good things. We hope to highlight more of them. But anyway, have a listen. Hope you enjoy the show. This has been so much fun. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comments or shoot me an email, jason@yeslouisville.com. Enjoy, everybody. Hey everybody, my name's Jason Mudd. I'm the host of the 502 Leader Series, brought to you by YesLouisville.com. Today I'm sitting down with an entrepreneur in the truest sense. I think everybody knows her name, McKnight Howe. Mo, thanks for sitting down with me today.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. You have a beautiful shop. We are in Revelry Gallery down in New Lou on Market Street doing this episode. We're right behind the counter, so if your shop was open, people would be coming up and buying stuff from us right now.
They would be.
Yeah, neat. Mo, what do you do?
Well, that's actually a really hard question because I do a lot of things. I obviously own this gallery, and my main mission is to support local artists, being that I am a local artist, and that is one of my hats. But my other hat is being a visual artist. I'm a photographer. I also am a painter, and I do a lot of commission drawings. I also do a huge art installation down on the waterfront with Forecastle every year, which is a big thing. And then my third hat is I'm a philanthropist. I sit on 3 different boards. I sit on the board for Louisville Visual Art, Kentucky Natural Lands Trust, and I just recently got onto the board for Fund for the Arts. So I spend about 20 to 30 hours a week on nonprofit work. So that's my third hat. And then I also am now a real estate person because my husband's in real estate. So I manage a lot of our properties, commercial and residential. And so yeah, that's 4 hats. I'll stop there.
Man, it's funny when you were on that third hat about the philanthropy, and you said you spend 20 to 30 hours a week doing that. That's a full-time job for a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot.
And I think we were chatting a little bit before we started this about what it takes to get in and run your own business, and it takes work. It takes a choice and an attitude that you're going to do what it takes to make something succeed. How did you get into wanting to own a business?
Well, I think it started from a really young age. I grew up in the Highlands here in Louisville, and I just remember, from a really young age going into Keith's Hardware and Great Harvest Bread and
Gosh, Great Harvest Bread, I remember that.
Yeah, Great Harvest and Casito Cookie and Eat Inside Gallery and all these places. I'd walk with my parents and we would, say, hey, Keith, hey, Nancy. We knew all the owners, and there's just this wonderful entrepreneurial spirit in the Highlands that I really appreciated. And I really loved being able to walk into a store and know the owner of the store. And it was almost weird when we went to big stores like Sam's Club and the mall, because I was I don't know any of these people. And I remember thinking that was so strange, and how much I'd love to connect with shop owners and how much that meant to me from a young age. And I think I saw my dad work a really hard job where he was just working overtime, and I never saw him until he decided to start his own business when I was 11 years old. And we had to risk everything because my mom was staying at home at that time, and he risked everything, and we really had to kind of struggle financially for him to start this business. But once he did, he was so much happier, and I saw him more, and he was able to be at my school functions, and he was living out his dream, doing something he was passionate about, and all the worry came off of his face, and he just became such a happy person after he started his own business, and he became such a great father. And so I think that also had a lot to do with it, is seeing my dad become an entrepreneur and seeing him go through the struggles and actually living through the struggles as a family, and knowing the hard work that goes into it, but then how worth it is in the end. I think that really is what inspired me to be an entrepreneur and to start my own business one day, is because I saw my dad do that, and I saw my brother do it with Forecastle. That was 14 years ago. I saw him risk everything in his life, give up everything in his life for this idea of a festival, and that really inspired me. That I think having my dad and my brother both risk everything and put everything out on the line, and not sure if they were going to make any money doing it, but just having passion about something so much that they were going to work and do anything they could to make it happen, was inspired me to make the life I want and to do what I want to do, what I was passionate about.
I think that's a big takeaway. We're 5 minutes into this, but gosh, that's a big takeaway. Making the life you want it's kind of a thing in the media right now. You see a lot of people writing about it. There's a lot of basis for this podcast about it, but there's so much truth behind it. And the people that get out and do the things and make the businesses just have an idea. And they just have an idea that they want to maybe scratch their own itch to some degree. But it's a need and it's a passion that other people feel, and that's what makes it successful. It really does come down to a choice. It's going to work. You know in your heart, and when you put your whole heart in it, it shows in everything you do. I mean, I'm sitting in this place. Something that I've always been curious with you specifically, what on your art side, what's an inspiration for you when you create your art? How do you go about that? What's your process like?
Well, it depends. I mean, it depends on if it's my photography or my painting, or it really depends. I mean, photography is very client driven now.
Right.
I don't really have a lot of creative freedom when I do photography, because it's usually for a job. I don't do a lot of fine art photography anymore, just because I consider it such a job, and it's what my degree is in, in photography. So I'm not as inspired by photography as I am more my drawing and painting. And again, those are, kind of client driven too. Like I get commissions to do those. But if I'm doing something just for fun, like, for Qtopia, which I'm in every year, I look to really, modern day, like pop artists. I think pop art inspires me a lot. So I follow artists like Ashley Longshore. I follow a lot of New York artists because I always feel like they're kind of in the know. I follow a lot of colossal artists. I'm really inspired by street art. I'm super inspired by street art and murals and the whole graffiti movement that's going on. And, I try to get to Art Basel in Miami every year, which is a huge inspiration for me. I mean, Art Basel, going down to Miami during Art Basel inspired my boat installation that I do at Forecastle.
That's such a cool thing.
Yeah.
I love that deal.
I got totally inspired to do that on a small scale. They were doing that in Miami on like a little tiny boat, and I saw people painting on it, and I just took it to the next level. I was like, let's get a big boat. I'm going to paint it totally white and then have a bunch of my artists paint on it and have mermaids and DJs and, make a whole thing out of it. So, yeah, I guess I get inspired by a lot of things, whether it be artists or what's going on in the contemporary art movement, and really by traveling and going to Art Basel. Art Basel for any artist is, a huge just pot of inspiration, and I suggest anyone go to Art Basel if you're an artist especially.
That's cool. So, something that I see, and I've seen this on your all social channels and stuff, a lot of the things that you guys do here at Revelry especially is event driven. You guys have gallery shows, and then you guys have events with art that you bring people in. There was something that I remember a while back where you had people coming out and doing paintings outside on these containers that are next to your shop.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest thing is with Revelry, and like, I don't want people to think that art is this thing that you just have to look at and that is unattainable. And, I want everyone to feel like they can be a part of it. They can touch the things, they can be a part of it. So during First Fridays and just like, during events a lot, I paint walls white, and then we put them outside, and we get a bunch of paint markers and spray paint, and we invite everyone to paint because I want everyone's an artist, whether...
That's right. Everybody's a creator.
Everyone is a creator, whether like you have to create a solution to a problem in your head, whether you have to solve a math problem. There's a time in every single person's life where they have to be creative. So I look at everyone as an artist, and I don't want art to be this thing, well, I can't paint or I can't even draw a straight line. Like, everyone can. Everyone, whether it be good or bad or whatever, that's up to you. But I want art to be more interactive. I don't want it to be this like, oh, only the top 2%, can have art or, attain art. I just feel like there's always this elitist attitude that comes with fine art and art. And I feel like one of my jobs and one of Revelry's jobs is to kind of break that down and say art is for everyone. And so that's kind of why I do these events where I welcome people in and we do these interactive things out on the street, is because I really want art to be for everyone, and I want everyone to feel like they're an artist.
Well, you open up that creative space, and you open up not just the creative physical space, but the creative space in people's minds. And I think that there's a lot of connection between inspiring somebody on that level and then how they can then translate that into their everyday life. Because, exactly like you said, everybody's a creator. I have the belief, and this was taught to me by my friend Buddy Howard, that everybody's a leader on some level. You're either, but you might not be good at it. So when you have these ways that you can cultivate that and you can grow that, then you're just making everything better, and then you get that downline that it reacts with everything else in your life. That's an awesome movement. I love that. That's such a good philosophy. Are you a big reader?
No, not huge. I mean, I used to be, and I've really fallen out of it. I mean, right now I'm reading I'm reading Girl Boss, which like everyone is like, you have to read Girl Boss. You're a girl boss, which I don't understand that term. So I mean, I'll read every once in a while, but I'm not a huge reader. I wish I read more. I just, again, the time. Like when I get in bed at night, I fall asleep. Like I get home at 9, 10 o'clock most nights, and usually it's just right into bed.
That's awesome. Well, I mean, it all comes with it. But reading that Girl Boss is a big thing, and there's probably a lot of people that can take away a lot of good things that are in that.
Yeah.
It's just about inspiration.
It's a very inspiring book. It's a good book.
Shifting gears a little bit, what's something that you struggle with? What's something that's not so easy that you've got to put more time into with regards to maybe your business or just making kind of things work? You've got a lot of irons in the fire.
Yeah, I think it's time management and balance. I think that's my biggest downfall is giving everything the amount of time that it deserves, and also saying yes to everything. Like I say yes to everything. If someone has a photo job for me tonight, I would say yes, even though I might not get those photos back to that person for 2 or 3 weeks because it will take me time to edit them, and I just don't have that time. So it's just time management is like a huge problem for me. And, I spend the majority of my days answering emails and then, working on my nonprofit stuff. And then I'm really lucky that I have a really good crew here at Revelry to kind of hold things down because my time management is just terrible. And then, my family and friends get whatever's left at the end of the day, which isn't fair. And I travel a lot, which is nice. That's like the way I perceive balance in life is like work, then go on like a 4-day trip. Work for 4 or 5 months, then go on, a 5-day trip. So I work a lot and I try to get away a lot to try to balance. And, I do yoga and I do meditation and I do all these things that kind of take me out of my headspace that I'm in during the workday. But I really do struggle with saying yes to too much and overcommitting, and I never want to underdeliver. So anytime I say yes to something, it's like full force. I'm going for it. I'm putting 100% of myself into it.
Under promise, over deliver kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know. I just get exhausted at the end. I always have like that breaking point after like 3 months of going hard, and it's usually timed right when I'm about to go on a trip, which is nice, but. It's hard, it's hard. I think I think it's so luxurious when people have like assistants or secretaries or people to manage their days for them, because, I wish I could have that someday. Like someone just to say no for me, or someone to answer some of my emails back, or someone to actually manage my time, because I'm just terrible at it, and it's something I need to get better at.
Well, you say that you're terrible at it, but gosh, you do a pretty good job at it. I will say we're living in an age with technology that we have so many tools at our disposal that make some of these things easier. I see you use an iPhone. Are there any apps or anything that you use that maybe help you stay more organized, or some people are bound by the calendar. They put everything in the calendar, and that kind of dictates a lot of their time management, because we're people. We don't, as much as we want to remember and manage everything in our own heads, it doesn't always work out the best that way. So what are some things that you do that maybe are replicatable, that might help?
I definitely think Google Calendar and your calendar on your phone is huge. Like, I mean, if you looked at my calendar today, it's like everything is blocked out. And it really helps if you have a significant other, because their calendar is on there too. So before I commit to something, I can always look like, okay, is like Scotty available to go to this event on this night? And so many couples don't do that. And so it's always like, well, you have to call or text. And if they're in a meeting, you have to wait an hour.
Ding.
I know that's actually my Airbnb. We have 3 Airbnb guests checking in today. So I think a calendar, especially if you have a busy significant other like I do, is huge for time management. I also just got on this thing called the Hub list. It's just called the Hub, and it's just it's a list of things to do that you can share with other people, and you can literally check things off as you go, and then they get crossed out, and it's called a Hub. It's called the Hub.
Is that something that anybody can join?
Yeah, it's free. It's a free thing.
We'll put that in the show notes.
Yeah, it's been really helpful, especially in like group projects that I'm working on or with my team here at Revelry. The Hub is a wonderful source to get everyone on the same page. Like, here's all the things we talked about. Now, and you can see who checks them off, who finished that task, and it's really good for someone who's ADD like me because it's like all right there on lists are everything to me. Like, if I don't have lists, I nothing will get accomplished. So like in my Revelry girls know that. So every day we have a list of things that we have to get accomplished before the end of the day, and we'll sit there and cross them out. And they're really good about that because they know I'm like a visual person. I have to see it. I have to put a strike through it. And I have to be held accountable for it. So lists are everything to me, and the Hub app makes that really great.
That's preparation and accountability. I think that those two go hand in hand.
Huge.
With everything. A little bit, real quick, Airbnb. Have you ever stayed at an Airbnb? Have you ever done that?
Oh, yeah.
Do you like, I always question that because it's something that I've wanted to do, but I've never really stepped out to actually do it. So
yeah, when I travel, I stay in Airbnbs. It's so much more fun.
That's awesome.
It's so much more fun because you just get so much more of, like, you can stay in an actual neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
I love going to, like, Nashville and staying in, like, West Nashville. And, I mean, so many places. I stayed in Boulder. I stayed on the top of a mountain in Boulder, Colorado, and one, like...
I bet you can find some very cool...
you can find the coolest. And,
that's awesome.
It's such a fun way to travel. And maybe it's because I'm a host. I love it so much. I have so much appreciation for it. But you just feel so much more of the culture of that city when you stay in an Airbnb and when you stay in someone's home and you're actually able to communicate with someone that lives there and say, hey, what's your favorite coffee shop? What's your favorite restaurant? Tell me what to do today. And they're like so excited, or else they wouldn't be hosting, to tell you all the wonderful things about their city. So, and I look at myself as like, I love Louisville so much. So I love being a host because I get to meet people from all over the world, and I get to tell them all the fun things to do in Louisville and why I love Louisville. And all my Airbnbs have, top to bottom local art everywhere, so they get this nice cultural feel for our art scene here. And it's just such a win-win, And it's a nice source of income, for a small business owner who sometimes doesn't know where their next paycheck is coming from.
Sure.
It's nice to have a little stability there, which, I don't know how you can, Airbnb isn't totally stable, but at least, I'm diversifying my income.
It's another facet of it.
Yeah, it's another flow of income right now, which is nice because, again, with small business, you just never know.
Yeah. With the Airbnbs that you have, are they themed? Like, you talk about love of Louisville. I think that it would be so cool to have a very kitschy, what do you guys have anything like that?
The one here in New Lou is it's just like art themed, like it's just top to bottom local art. We have one in the Highlands that's bourbon themed, and it's called the Highlands Bourbon Lodge. It's really cool.
That's cool.
And it's totally bourbon themed. It's awesome. And then we have the Highlands Hideaway, which is right off of Bardstown Road, and it's very derby themed, which I didn't even expect, but the more I started putting art in there and kind of furnishing it, the more derby it got. So that one's kind of derby themed. And then I'm also working on another one that I'm theming with colors, but that is like a whole process that I haven't even really begun. So yeah, they are themed.
That's really neat.
Mostly art themed. Obviously, like, I own this place, so I want everything to be a reflection of this place. And I just think it's so important to tell people what a wonderful creative community Louisville is, which a lot of people don't know when they come here until they stay at my Airbnb or they come into Revelry. They're like, oh my God, this is all local artists making this stuff? And I'm like, yeah, I had no idea that, like, Louisville was so artsy. So I feel like it's kind of my duty to like be a spokesperson for, our local art scene and local artists here in Louisville. And I feel like my Airbnbs and my home and my gallery are all reflections of that.
I think Louisville, I'm from Louisville. I've lived here my whole life. A little bit of, I've been in Chicago for a little bit, but mostly my whole life. And one thing that I can get with people of Louisville, and I think that I'm guilty of this, is taking the city for granted with regards to the diversity and with how much stuff that we actually have going on. There's so many people that I know that on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday will say, gosh, there's nothing to do. But there's so much to do here.
There's so much to do.
Maybe it's overwhelming to a point. I don't know, but what are the ways that you stay connected with what's going on? I know that you're kind of a maker in that aspect, but where are the best places that people can find what's going on in the city?
That's really tough. We've been talking about this with Fun for the Arts a lot. Obviously, it depends on what you want to know about, what you want to be involved in. But there's, again, Fun for the Arts has a great app that has all things arts and cultural. So performing arts, the orchestra, the ballet, the opera, gallery openings, everything like that they have on this wonderful app now. The Fun for the Arts app. So I find out a lot of cultural events and signing up on people's newsletters, like Fun for the Arts and galleries, or I always, I'm on Headliners, I'm on Mercury Ballroom because I always want to know the latest concerts coming in. So I think it's just finding okay, what do I want to know more about? Music, art, whatever it may be. And then getting on the right mailing list to do that, which everyone has a great, WFPK has a wonderful mailing list where they send out a lot of things. The Leo, I look at staff picks in the Leo a lot. So there, I feel like the Leo is a great source of, hey, here's what's going on this week. And because it's a weekly publication, exactly what's about to happen. So, I think there's different outlets, but again, it's aligning what you want to know, what you want to be part of, and then finding that mailing list, that website, and really getting on board and getting those email updates. Everything for me is on email. That's the way
everything's a lot. Yeah,
I have to organize my entire life on email. So that's how I keep up with all the arts and cultural events that are going on in Louisville, which there's so many.
Louisville's such a fun city. I love this city so much.
I do too.
What time do you wake up in the morning?
I wake up between 8 and 8:30 usually.
What does the first 60 minutes of your day look like?
Well, lately I've been running the Big Four. So I've been running to the Big Four Bridge. It's in my backyard, which everyone's
because you live in Butchertown.
I live in Butchertown, yeah. So, and now they just finally opened up the roadway. You can't drive through it yet, but I can run now on Campbell Street to the Big Four Bridge, which is so nice. And it's something I take for granted, being right behind my house. Everyone's like, oh my God, you run the bridge every day? I'm like, well, it's 0.75 miles. It's not even a mile to the top. From my front door to the top of the bridge.
That's awesome.
Is 0.75 miles. So then I usually run all the way to the top, and then I run back to my house. So it's only 1.5 miles.
Yeah.
So it's 15, 20 minutes. I'm back home. But
that's a great way to start the day.
It's a great way to start the day, and I get to have a beautiful view of the city. Yesterday I ran it, and I watched the Belle of Louisville go. The sun was coming up, and the Belle of Louisville was passing through the Ohio, and no one was on the bridge but me. And I ran all the way to the middle. I'm trying to get to Indiana. That's my goal. I always have to set goals when I work out, and I'm trying to get all the way to Indiana so I can tell people, oh, I ran to Indiana today. Right. But also because I just, am trying to make it further every day. But yesterday I ran all the way to the middle of the bridge, where if you go to the middle of the bridge, the Big Four Bridge, they play the orchestra.
Uh-huh.
They're playing the orchestra music.
Yeah.
So I got to the middle, and what a wonderful treat. The wind started blowing right as I got there. I was listening to the orchestra. The Belle of Louisville was passing by as the sun was coming up.
What a moment.
And I got to
That's
see
so
this
cool.
beautiful skyline that was Louisville. And, yesterday was a beautiful day. So it was just like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, this is such an amazing moment. Like, this just inspired my whole day. Like, what a beautiful city I live in. Like, this is incredible. I'm listening to the orchestra right now and watching one of the oldest still functioning steamboats in the United States, and looking at the skyline and on the mighty Ohio. Like, it just was this like wonderful moment for me. So, yeah, I love it. I love running. Like, I love running and working out. And I think it comes from me being a past athlete. I played lacrosse my whole life, and field hockey, and ended up playing lacrosse at U of L, which is how I met my husband, Scotty, because he was playing lacrosse at U of L. So I think just being a past athlete, I have to have in order to keep my sanity, I have to work out and I have to stay active, or else I get really sad. I found like when I go on hiatus from working out, I get really sad. I get really emotional and sad if I haven't been active that day. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know if it's like the endorphins or whatever it is, but I get like, I don't know. I just think it's like part of mental health. And, I've had friends come to me saying like they're struggling and whatnot. And I'm like, are you doing anything active? And usually the answer is, no. And it's like, let's go running. Let's do yoga. Let's walk the Cherokee Loop. Whatever your level is, like, let's get our blood pumping. Let's do something that will raise our endorphin levels. Because, a lot of times it's chemicals and it's blood flow on why you're not feeling great. So I always, tell my friends that who are not feeling great, and it works. I mean, 99% of the time, that's all you have to do is just get out there and be active. And I know it works for me.
That's such a simple thing that we overlook so much, but it's so true. And just think that those little moments, if you don't take that initiative to do it, you don't have that. And again, it all goes back to a choice. So you're 60 minutes, you're running. Do you meditate? I know you said you do meditation. Is that a morning thing for you? Is that?
Yeah, I mean, again, it's usually on top of the bridge. It's usually like I get up
because you can do it at any time. I mean,
it's so great. I usually get up on the bridge and I stand like up on this little platform so that I can actually see because I'm short. And I just look at the city and I just take really deep breaths and just think about my goals for that day. And that's usually, that's really my morning thing. And it's nice because I always take a pause, like when I get to the top of the bridge, because I've really accomplished something by going up that really long ramp. It's really hard. If you've never run up that Big Four ramp nonstop, I don't
it's
stop.
It's a long way.
It's a long way.
And the Louisville one is longer than the Indiana one.
I don't know. I've never made it to the Indiana one. I'm going to get there though. But yeah, it's a long way up. So by the time I get up there, and it's an incline. It is an incline. I always feel like, I've accomplished something. I can take a breath. I can look out over my city. The wind is always blowing up there. And it's just always so beautiful, whether it's raining or sunny. It's just a beautiful time to kind of reflect and take a breath. And I always try to set goals like for the day, whether it be like personal or like business wise or whatever is the goal that day. I try to set those intentions. And then I do a lot of yoga. I do yoga about once or twice a week, which again just helps me get to a different mindset.
Good. Awesome. Looking back at the things that you've accomplished, and as people grow, you get, everybody changes, everybody evolves. What's some advice that you would give to your 20-year-old self?
Well, let's see. At 20, I was in college at U of L, and I wish I would have taken some business courses. I didn't know at that time I was for sure going to go into business by myself. Not by myself. I had a partner, Paula, a wonderful partner. in the beginning, but I was in art school, and I only went to art school. I didn't, I took electives, but they were things like weightlifting and like just the dumbest electives you could think of. And I really wish I would have taken advantage of U of L's business school, and I wish I would have taken marketing and accounting and all these things that I had to, kind of learn the hard way. Just because a lot of artists don't think of themselves as business people. And whether I would have started this gallery or not, I would have still been Mo McKnight LLC with photography, with my painting, with being an artist. That you're your small business. When you graduate from art school, it's like you got to get a website, you got to get an account, you got to get all these things. So you're essentially, if you say, well, I want to be an artist, you're saying, I want to be a small business owner. And you have to know how to do all those things. And those are things you don't learn about in art school. You learn about form and line and color theory and all these wonderful things that you don't learn about how to be a small business owner. So I wish I would have kind of foreseen that. I wish I would have had a mentor tell me that, because those are all things I had to learn on my own. And when I go back to U of L now, I do give lectures at U of L to their art students sometimes, and I do tell them, like, hey, here's what's up. Like, you're about to graduate. I don't want to see you guys working in coffee shops the rest of your life. You need to make it as an artist, and you can make it as an artist. You just need to walk over to the business school and take a few courses. So I wish I would have had the wherewithal to do that. I wish I would have, like, really had a mentor, like someone I really looked up to in college, which I had my parents, which is great. But I really wish I would have paired myself with a local artist that was already out working and really gotten their story and kind of learned from them, because I had to learn a lot on my own once graduating.
That's funny that you talk about that. I was listening to a podcast this morning on my way here, Gary Vaynerchuk. He does an awesome podcast. And he said, the reason that most artists are starving artists is because they don't look at the sales aspect of it. And you may create the most perfect product, the most beautiful art, but if you can't sell it, if you can't showcase it, then what's the point?
Yeah.
And so that's a good point to bring out, especially in the age that we are in. With social media, everybody's a brand. Everybody has a public face. Whether you want it or not, it's just the reality of life nowadays. So I think putting that thought into how you're going to present yourself and how you're going to market yourself is such a good such a good thought.
Yeah.
Such a good thought.
And it's a thought that a lot of artists don't have. They just think like, oh, like I just go in my studio and make work and people buy it. And it's like, no, like it's not that easy. And it really stinks because a lot of, our professors are, they were classically trained artists. And so we became classically trained artists. And it wasn't like, hey, you need to start an Instagram account. You don't have
that full evolution.
Because they don't know. They didn't have to market their work like that. When they graduated from art school, they sent slides to people, and it was this whole different world. So there's been a big generational change there, and a shift with everything that's going on computers and in your phone. So it's really important, I think, for young artists to know that, to look at themselves as a brand and as a business and how they're going to market themselves. And again, U of L has a great business school. Wish I would have gone over there and taken a couple of classes. Totally didn't, and I regret that. But
you learned it the hard way.
I did learn. I learned the hard way. But yeah, it would have been a lot easier.
Neat. What's a recent purchase of $100 or less that's most positively impacted your life?
Okay. Recent purchase, $100 or less. Gosh.
It's a tough question.
I'm not a big consumer. I don't buy a lot of things nowadays besides real estate. All my money goes there. I don't even buy clothes. What's something that is $100 less?
It can be as simple as a cup of coffee that motivates you, that gets you going.
Oh, okay. Well, coffee is that's
being right next door to please and thank you.
It's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. yeah, please and thank you is like my coffee is really what keeps me going. I mean, I would have to say that. So yeah, I mean, I don't know, under $100, definitely coffee, and that's all I can think of. I'm not a big consumer. I literally buy coffee and food, and that's it.
Awesome.
That's all I buy. I like never buy clothes. I'll buy art, which positively affects my life, but it's not usually
under $100.
Under $100. So yeah, I mean, I think art always positively affects your life, but yeah, it's mostly food and coffee for me. That's my everyday, every month. I can't even remember the last time I bought like an article of clothing or anything that would make me feel good. So, actually, if you get a massage every once in a while.
Ooh, that's a good one.
That makes me feel like a new person. And I really feel like it makes my blood flow better. It makes my brain work better. If you can just get one a month, I try to just get one a month, which some people are like, "Ooh, that's so luxurious,"
but it's not.
But it's really not.
Self-care.
It's $60. Yeah, it's $60, and it's taking 1 hour to yourself, and it's also just making. I feel like it really does make my blood flow better. Yeah. It makes everything work better. It makes my brain work better. It makes everything work better. So if you can get a massage 1 day a month, I would say go for it.
I would second that. Big
yeah,
time.
it's such a huge. I mean, it's not a luxury thing. It's really like it should just be like a part of everyone's like.
It should be billable to insurance.
It really should. Sometimes it is
preventative care.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I mean, it really is preventative care, and I look at a lot of things holistically. Like I go to the salt cave a lot and meditate in the salt cave. I do yoga. I get massages. I try to, again, like, because my life is so crazy and hectic, I really do try to take time to do those things for myself, which is important.
I think that's really important for everybody. And I think that's something that's overlooked by a lot of people is taking the moments to calm yourself. Life is busy. Life takes over. But you've got to have moments that you sit still and appreciate. I think gratitude goes into everything. Everything that you're talking about, I think goes into, gratitude has a component in that.
Huge.
And being thankful. And I'm thankful for this conversation. This has been such a fun chat. Mo, where can people find you guys on socials?
So our website is www.revelrygallery.com. We're on Facebook as Revelry Boutique Gallery, and we are on Instagram, which everyone should follow our Instagram because I think our Instagram is our strongest.
Instagram is the strongest for everybody.
I love Instagram, and I guess because I'm a photographer.
It's visual. Everybody's visual.
Yeah, and Molly, our gallery director, is a photographer, so I feel like our Instagram game here at Revelry is super strong. Mm-hmm. So follow us on Instagram, Revelry Boutique Gallery, all one word, Revelry Boutique Gallery, and you will not only get wonderful Instagram stories, IG stories, but you will get wonderful photos of the products that we get in every single day from local artists. And you'll always know about the latest upcoming shows. So I'm going to say Instagram. Please go to Instagram, Revelry Boutique Gallery.
Awesome. Mo, thanks for sitting down today. It's been a fantastic chat. Everybody go follow Mo. Go follow Revelry. Go subscribe to the Yes Louisville list, yeslouisville.com/subscribe. Get on the list. We've been talking about that today.
Do it.
And then just get involved in the city. There's so much going on in Louisville, and we are so lucky to be in this space. So everybody have a good day. Thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye. Thanks for tuning into this episode of the 502 Leader Series. My name's Jason Mudd. We hope that you've found some good takeaways, some good things that you can put into practice in your own life. There's so much to learn from everybody in this city, and we're so thankful to be able to share some of these stories with you. This episode was brought to you by ProntoiPhone.com. Pronto iPhone is a great concierge iPhone repair service. Everybody drops their phone. It's something that nobody can engineer out of a product. People drop things. It just happens. But this service is so great because they send a technician to your home, office, or they'll meet you at a coffee shop and replace that cracked screen with a fresh one in as little as 15 minutes. It is not worth it to walk around with a cracked screen, cutting up your fingers. It just doesn't look good to clients. So check them out at prontoiphone.com and get that cracked iPhone screen replaced. Thanks for your support, everybody. Have a good day.